What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Toshi today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? It is the 18th day of September, and here we are at about 3086, just below there. We got 8 hours, 7 minutes left in the day. Toshi's pulling back a little bit from yesterday's highs, but that was to be expected, right? We called for that. It's not anything detrimental. I very much believe you're going to continue to grow. Yesterday, you closed 51% to the upside, and from the low that you had on the 16th here to the high of yesterday, that was that was basically a 100% pump that you had. Crazy stuff, you guys, crazy stuff. When I tell you this thing's got a lot of potential in a very short amount of time, I mean it. I mean, this is just the beginning, right? This is your breakout move. You're back testing, you're finding support at prior resistance. This is good. This is not a bad thing. This is definitely a good thing here. So before we get into the charts, I just want to go over this again. I think it's a big deal that on the 10th, maybe retrospectively, we should have all bought some Toshi on the 10th. What was that? Let's see, the 10th here. That would have been here. Maybe retrospectively, we should have all bought some there based off of that, because that's some pretty big news, you guys, where Coinbase One partners with Toshi, right? A meme coin. There's more to Toshi than just it being a meme coin. It's more than meets the eye. And you should do your own research. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do your own research. But the fact that Coinbase One is partnering means that Brian Armstrong supports it. This is a meme coin made on the base ecosystem, which is a Coinbase ecosystem that they're building out, right? Decentralized network ecosystem, whatever. And Toshi is kind of like the front runner meme on that ecosystem. Maybe Brett. I wonder actually. I think Brett does have a higher market cap, but I think Toshi's the front runner, man. Honestly, yeah. 577 million on Brett. Toshi here, 362 million. I wouldn't be surprised if Toshi overtook Brett personally. I see the narrative building out for Toshi a lot more. But yeah, the partnership here just says Brian Armstrong approves, and it's based off of his cat. I don't know. I think the narrative's there just on that for the meme itself alone. But with the other things going on, with Toshi Mart, their new bonding curve, and the X Live feature that's happened, this update recently, and just other stuff that's going on, I think that it's really exciting to see what Toshi will do over the coming days and weeks. But before we repeat everything that I just said yesterday, let's get on with our bad selves. Let's talk about this here today and talk about where I expect the price to go. Okay, so here we are. Again, we're right at prior areas of resistance, finding support here potentially. Could we go lower? Yes. We could go right there. Could we go lower? Yes. We could go right there. Could we go below 308 and still be fine? Absolutely. Prior resistance here, prior resistance here, prior resistance here. A little bit of significance there as well. You're finding support in this area probably before moving higher. That'd be my expectation. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour time frame here. Very, very bullish. You had this nice move up, dropping off in volume, and you looked like you were breaking out, right? Typically, whenever you die off in volume, you look to break out one way or the other. You broke out to the upside, but this was a fake out, my friends. We had the volume come in, but it did not sustain, and we came down. I think this is a signal that we probably do go lower. Lower where? Lower than this low is what my thoughts are. That low is at about 00081. We probably go just below there, or maybe right there. Maybe it's a slightly higher low, but something around this area. If we take a low to a high here, that extension zone would be right there, 3076, which 3077 is an area that we were looking at. 307 itself could be an area for support. That's the golden ratio for support, and it's right there at this prior area of resistance here, right here, which is also not really that significant, actually, other than that most recent area. So kind of a prior area of support there. Prior area. Say that word 5 times fast, man. Or say those words 5 times fast. Yeah, it would make sense that we go lower. The RSI looks like it wants to go lower. You're probably going to move up from here, though, right? You've got lower lows, lower highs. You're in this kind of channel. You probably move up and then move lower, reject the 50, reject this area that you found support at, move lower, reject the same area that you rejected here, and then move lower. So I would think, going into the end of today and going into tomorrow, you should be moving down. But perhaps tomorrow you start to move back up again. I don't believe this consolidation phase is going to be long-lived. Again, we look at this on a daily time frame. It's absolutely abundantly clear that this was a breakout move. So this is the beginning of more to come. Right? It doesn't stop here. You're not going to consolidate like this again, right? You're not even going to consolidate like this. It's not going to be a long-lived thing, but for the time being, yes, I do think that you go a little bit lower. Looking at the stochastics, bearish. The MACD, bearish as well. At least come down and scoop the zero, right? Bounce off the zero there. But I think that you might even go a little bit below the zero, and that's fine. The 1 hour MACD is kind of less significant. But all things pointing to the idea that it's okay if you go lower. It's not a problem. And in fact, it kind of makes sense, right? The price action alone, I think, says that it wants to go lower, personally. Looking at this 4 hour time frame here, Just what an incredible move. I want to see this little pivot here from a high to a low. All the way up to your 3618, man. Just crazy, crazy stuff. For those of you that don't know, I put the 2886 to the 3113 as the money zone. That's kind of our money zone target. You typically don't see a move like this explode past that. The fact that you went to the 3618 is absolutely, I mean, this is stupendous in itself. That is miraculous. Absolutely it is. But still, flawlessly, if you ever have these little fibs and you put a sell order at the 2886 to 3113 area, it works pretty flawlessly, right? You might not have caught the exact top, but if you sold there, I mean, even if you sold, let's say, the very bottom of that zone, as of now, you get a 13% discount, which isn't crazy, isn't everything, but it matters. You know, it definitely does matter. It's the difference between it being like from the high ends of this low area, difference of this being right now you're up 43% to where you would actually be up a little bit more than that, and then overall you'd have a substantial more amount of growth as you're coming up higher, right? You'd just be able to allocate back in. I'm not going to do the math there. I was going to, but I'm like, actually, my brain is too tired. I don't want to do it. 4-hour time frame here. The 4-hour RSI looks pretty bullish, actually. Getting overbought, not getting oversold. Love to see it. Living above the 50, love to see it. You do have lower lows in the RSI. You can see here you've cooled off, right? You've got lower lows right here in the RSI. And we do have higher lows, dramatically higher lows in the price. Oh, no, I guess we don't. I thought this low was correspondent to this over here. But still, whatever. You're cooling off in the RSI, and that's fine. Totally acceptable. If we take this, I wonder where the 382 is going to be from this relative low to high. Let's just see here. Low, come on, low here to a high there. 382 is right there at 3089. Okay, you found support there. Rejected the 236 coming down. You're probably going to your golden ratio, building out the case to go lower for sure. 30718 to 30755. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where you went. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's where you went. If we go to the golden ratio here, I mean, that's prior resistance right there, a little bit of support right there, a little bit of resistance right there. It's just below these areas that we were talking about in the beginning of the video, but that's fine. It's possible that you find support just above, but I really wouldn't be surprised if you did get a little bit below 3077 at this rate. I would think that you do go a little bit below 3077, but you at least have something lower to go. That'd be my expectation. Looking at the MAC or the stochastics, makes sense that you'd go lower. MACD looks bullish, but you could go lower and it's fine. So yeah, do that. Overall, very, very bullish posturing. Daily RSI, stochastics, MACD, all bullish, all implying that you have more growth to go. But maybe today, maybe tomorrow, you just chill a little bit, come back down to this area, find some support, and then you'll rip and rally, right? Sometimes it's good to draw these support lines at prior wicks. Sometimes it's good to take in the prior closing high, not the opening high. Closing high right there. And sometimes it's important, just consider the overall surrounding area. Maybe here you've got this closing high as well. So anything and everything, I think, between 3071, 30838, I think is acceptable. I personally believe we will go just below 307, okay? We take this high. I don't want to take the Coinbase high. Let's take the Coinbase high. I'm just curious, actually. Are you respecting this? Let's just see. High to low here. You are respecting it. In all fairness, you are respecting it. So maybe, look at that. The 0.5 is all the way down there at 3071. Maybe you go all the way down there. I'm not saying that you have to just because it's down there, but there's just, if you do go down that low, don't panic. It's okay. It's totally fine. There's one more thing I want to look at before we end this video, and then we can wrap things up. Okay, Toshi here. I want to look at it on MEXC with this ribbon here. We've crossed up bullishly. Fantastic. Nice to see. Typically when you cross up, you promote growth, right? It doesn't stop here. It continues. We look at the 3-day ribbon. The 3-day looks great. Fantastic. Very bullish. Looking like you want to continue. Weekly ribbon, it's too new to really get a head count there. I don't know. I was just looking at this to see how it looked. The significant thing here really is that the daily ribbon's crossing and the 3-day ribbon does look to be expanding here pretty soon. You found support below it, which is good. That's bullish. The reaction is nice. I definitely believe that you have more to go, right? These past couple of reactions have been modest, right? Very, very mild, but I think this one's going to be a little bit more prolonged. We're in a much more bullish kind of environment across the crypto space right now. So I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.